Frances Weaver. I teach social studies here at Welsh Valley Middle School. The ways that I critically engage with my students is I create my own lessons, transformative curriculum that involves current day events, looking back at the past, examining history through an analytical lens, a political lens, social, economic, most importantly a social justice and social action lens. Graph on example of discrimination based on social class. Patrick, you mentioned this was classism, that this was I would like my students to recognize historical patterns, so I present lessons in a way that it continuously links the past to the present. We acknowledge differences and changes, but also this idea that we can learn from the past, that we don't have to do the same thing as what has already been done because that was the model or that's what we saw.
It's completely a violation of a fundamental right of humans, especially.
So one of the skills 8th graders in Lower Marion have to develop is argumentation. So to write a thorough, concise, illustrative argument or thesis. That's the one skill, but I wanted to build on it with anti-bias, anti-racism points of view as well, so that they're aware of it and like this is not okay what happened, and not to justify it and not to just move on, but to really recognize the impact that it has on today. We want to learn from history and to make sure this never happens again. So I wanted to make sure that my students are aware that opinions sometimes had a major effect on the way that we read things, and I wanted them to be more, develop a more critical eye. Many of the times they'll ask a question or they have an idea, and I like to incorporate their voices in my lessons. So critical engagement involves their interests, it involves things that they're wondering about, their curiosity, it involves addressing the whole child. So the social, emotional piece as well as the academic excellence part of teaching. I don't want my students to feel like that I know everything. I want us to have that shared dialogue where we figure it out. We read multiple sources. We piece together the different parts of history to make a whole picture. I have clear and consistent expectations for my students, and that's how I manage my classroom. And I learned a long time ago that classroom management is definitely tied to planning and execution of your lessons. I realized that academically rigorous lessons minimizes classroom management. In the kind of district that I work in, where we have a predominantly white population of students, I think it's being culturally proficient that helps you take it to the next level, just identifying your own bias, going back to kindness and generosity, and just being able to develop those relationships. When a student knows that you care about them and that you would advocate for them and be there for them, they will excel, they'll work harder for you than any other class. And that's what I found over the years. It's just that relationship is key, but also those academically rigorous lessons. And just being culturally proficient, appreciating and celebrating and valuing diversity. I would hope that my students thought I was generous in that I gave 100% of myself, whether if it was just a one-on-one they're talking to me, I gave them 100% of my attention. I planned a lesson that would be interesting for them. I gave them everything they needed to be able to succeed and accomplish their goals.
My one word, if I would describe Miss Weaver, would be that she's very generous and like she knows what's happening, like she's forgiving and everything.
Empathetic.
Enthusiastic.
Creative. She has all these different ways to teach social studies that I've never seen before, and I really like.
If I had to use one word to describe Mrs. Weaver, it would be charismatic.
Compassionate.
Energetic.
A dedicated and unique teacher.
How intentional she is.
Determined, because she's always trying to push us to our best abilities.
She's just always like happy and just brings like good energy to her class.
We celebrate diversity by deconstructing and breaking down biases. One of my students mentioned that it's not just different ethnicities, it's cultural and religious backgrounds, but also different experiences. All of that shape who we are. We shouldn't just judge based on exterior, because what matters most is character. And I teach that a lot. I infuse character into my lessons in the hopes that they realize that character is everything, and then character makes all the difference.